Hi, it's Chastia. Come on in. You study genetics, Prime to Human Project. So I'm reading. Okay, you cracked the code. These are comments that are coming in on the videos that I just put up today or hitting my stream, and that's why I wanted to come on here. I'm just following my guidance like I always do. This is what we learn to do. And I just wanted to come on and talk to y'all and give y'all a little bit more information about this journey, because the truth is, the group like me that just made it all the way through or has ascended the matrix but now is ascending the solar system. You have to ascend your DNA, you have to ascend the matrix, you have to ascend the solar. There's many levels and layers. And the truth is that nobody down here, nobody, not anybody from what you'd consider the cabal, not anybody from what you'd consider a sorcerer, not anybody that you would consider the best Asian developer that was doing all this with quantum codes. Not one, and I don't care how long they've been around or how much shamanism they have, and sometimes that's the Hamas problem. Those of us who just came through this are going to be the ones to listen to. Not to mean that none of that other information is correct, because all information coming from a spiritual being in a spiritual layer is correct for them, or for a layer that they have mastered. Okay? What kept happening is that the human race, us as a human race, did not realize how bodies were made. You know how we have this little, if a tree falls in the forest, does someone hear it? Is a great example of this. And also, just our bodies are so miraculous. How is it that each one of us is born and we all have human parts? I don't care what language you Babylonian bullshit you want to put on it. We all have human parts that work in a larger unit to create the human body. Now, some of this is a given, but in this ascension, you can't take anything as a given. And the more that you want the answers right now, and you think that you need to figure it all out before you do anything, the deeper in a hole you're going to get. Because there is a lot of this information you can't process. You cannot process it. You cannot understand it in these different layers until you've been in it a minute, and your energy has to take over that layer, kind of combat, see what's over there, who's been here, who's operating in this moon mansion, what the heck, what are you, what's that, what's this, what's that. Each time you move up, you go into a different perception of consciousness. Now, remember, this is all mastery. You're in the biggest game, and ever known to history and to man right now. Those of us who just completed it would be called your pioneers, your ascended masters, your ancients. And in the end, you'd call us aliens, because that's what that's what they made us into in order to get back down here. They wanted everyone to be scared and have this, oh, alien, but no. And if you get too much of this information, when you're in a red or a yellow energy, let me give you an example. Because what was happening, okay, is that outside of the Milky Way, because we's in a wheel. We's all in a wheel. And if you followed Lemuria teachings, what is this telling me? Right to left? I don't know why it's telling me that. Swipe left. Okay. If you followed Lemurian teachings, and I had remembrance of this as we were all activating and waking up in 2017, 2018, because that's what happened. 2017 is when your doomsday seeds, your ancients, your ascended masters, all of us that were connected in a star unit that had been taken out with the Russians. You know, this is because this was all princess stuff, king stuff, queen stuff. And what was happening is that the very fabric of existence was under attack because of DNA. In a natural process, because this is where this becomes confusing to most, because there is a natural process to everything that I'm telling you. There's a natural reason it was all done, even in the positive, for the collective. The problem is that it had been scientifically, elementally, gaseously, satellitely splitting DNA. Splitting. It had been going on for so long that these final layers of ascension don't make sense to a shaman. They don't. This is why we lost so many people. This is why I need everyone to hear me right now, because I need my shamans to get it together. We need every single realm to just understand the ones that are right above them, because all of y'all have the most ancient stuff from the ones before. Heck, all of us that came in, because, I mean, this really is, and this is Cohu 32, and there's only 32 programs. There's only 32. And whenever you start looking at this in different ways, man, it's a DNA strand. Not to mention that this is how color gets here. This is how we see color. This explains with your colorblind. This is understanding that the cosmos, when you get up to Arcturus, when you get up to Libra, it's a big brain. Remember Pulp Fiction? Look at that big brain on, well, what movie was that? Look at that big brain on Brad. Well, you mean Brad Pitt? How about now? That's a problem. That's that RNA. I just did that little video. I posted it up there on the feed. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, because when that strand does that, when it replicates and then it breaks off and then it starts feeding into that RNA, well, the RNA is what the vaccines messed up on everybody. Now, I don't care if you took the vaccine or not, because what happened is it wouldn't take, Dolly Parton was one of them. That's why I did the stuff with Dolly yesterday, because Dolly Parton was one of them. Dolly is made from Dolly the cloned sheep. Literally. literally. When you go back and watch that DNA strand unravel, then I want you to think in your mind, okay, if our reality is made by templates, because that's what Tartarian, and that's what your chosen ones, and this was what Christ was all about. Christ is Cancer. Christ is Tartarian. Cancer is this is the Cancer Capricorn flip. This is the full, more than a pole flip, more than that. That's a layer that you have to get through to get out of after death ages, which is what we were in. We were in after death, and we're not going to Aquarius. That's the lie. What you can think of it is kind of like Aquarius became all the RNA mimic sequences. Now what happens is whenever your DNA goes through that processor, you can go watch it on that little video, then it makes this little strip. It looks like a tapeworm. It makes this little strip. It comes out, and then it's gliding across your DNA. It's reading it. It's got output. It's outputting a strand. But there's one difference, and that's a T and a U. Well, we're talking about Tiamat. That's where the T comes from. Not Tartarian. That came next. Like a long time after. This is a 1,000,000-year reset of a human bubble. And that was the thing. Nobody wanted everybody to remember that this was a 1,000,000-year reset. They don't want you to remember. This is why all the wars were fought. This is why the Stargates were taken over. This is why. This is why we didn't have divine unions. Well, you know what happens if you don't allow the divine union to come together? All y'all are mixed matched. All of y'all are mixed matched because of how that little strand reads and how everything's connected on what you'd call land. But it's basically what your ancestors made here. This is the church. The church is the land. And we're one nation under God, not one new world order. Fuck, there's a difference. And the collective as a free will collective, you do not know how long I waited for the collective to be ready. And it happened April. Well, I said October, but it probably flipped October. But it happened April 29th, 2018 is when I got out of bed and I was leaning off course because I'm Libra. I was Venus. I'm in the 7th house. I'm here to teach you about it. I'm kind of the first walking Arcturian that's embodied that full energy in order to come tell you now so that we could get all the way out and figure out how to get out of this wheel. Now, this Aquarius, what it was kind of, that's why it became so much part of this. And look, I'm telling you all of this and realize that consciousness is key. So whenever you understand, then it can't allow. So I call a lot of things out over here so that you understand it. But I always am giving you a solution. There's a difference. We need to, as a collective, stop bringing in problems that you don't have a solution to, or at least a suggestion. So I like to put that channel, that out to everybody who's doing content creation right now. Just remember that if you're stating the problem over and over, but you're not even suggesting a solution, then you're building the web for them. Now, the reason that consciousness works that way is because we all come from one original DNA strand. When you're on a T. Now, the problem is with O blood and with the way they've been changing blood, because when you go watch that strand uncoil and undo, now imagine that happening in space. Imagine that happening with one DNA strand in a much bigger space. And so this is why the Bible and everything says it only took one. It only took one, and it only took two standing together. DNA. Now, when that DNA sequence takes hold, what happens is it's going from the depths. And what's everything down here? Polarized. So if it's coming from the depths, inside, I mean, so molecular inside you that you don't even know that it's happening. What's going on in space? Same thing. Now, everybody's been talking about the divine feminine and the divine masculine, divine feminine, divine masculine. Well, see, those of us who know this cosmic lineup and are processional beings, because there's a whole lot of us. Processional beings is what is battery. I'll let it die, because I can't replug this one in. I'm on my white phone. I'm doing a lot of alchemy over here. There's so much I want to tell y'all. I might come back on my other black phone and do another live. If y'all give me a thumbs up, give me some hearts, let me know if this is helping you. I can come back on to the other one. Tell me something, interact with me, give me some hearts, and if this ends after 20%, we'll see where we are. I'll go, if this is helping y'all. That's the whole point of this. I already know all this crap. What you have to realize is that when that DNA strand makes it up there, that's the one. When it's connected in here and then it makes something new, then what happens in space? A lot. Now, I'm not just talking about the space on the outside of the planet, because there's space on the outside of the planet and there's space on the inside of the planet, see? But you go changing Shambhala, you go changing the inside of the planet. You know why? Because Shambhala was made from ancient Egyptian mummification. I mean, every single thing that is the body that even got you consciousness down here. That is even the reason that we have pineal glands down here. Which is even the reason we have pituitary glands down here that are now operating at a new frequency, which is what divine intervention is all about. But don't get us wrong, it didn't just happen overnight, and nobody just said a prayer and then someone could come. And the point is that you need to understand, nothing can change down here if it's not changed by a human. I'm going to say it again. You cannot change nothing down here if you're not human. The reason and how they were doing it is because of that little uRNA. They based it, that DNA frequency got in our DNA sequence, and we started projecting it for them because it was a sinister plan in order to take your place. Because you had a human body, they didn't. Human bodies are connected to the land. Human bodies are connected to the buried treasure. Human bodies are connected to that Binyan Hall that there ain't no way they'd ever find in Vegas until we came back to this land, got together in the sequence, lined up in the matrix timing, and then boom shakalaka, that treasure's gonna appear. Just like the mummies in 2017 and the Viking warrior queen, you know, all that was appearing to us in the collective as those of us who are those characters reconnected in those timelines to those DNA sequences and started powering up the earth from the inside out and the outside in at the same time. At the same time. because we were in such a 0-point field. Now understand that those of us who activated in 2017, we didn't know any of this. Trust us. Trust us. We got our ass kicked up and down. Every single tarot reading that you're watching right now is all about, that we told her, leave her alone. We told you not to mess with us. We told you, ancestors told you, hands off a long time ago. Well, this is why. If this is the core of the earth, and understand that your core in the LIA fail, because I was a LIA fail. I was a tripwire. Most of everything that I deal with over here, believe it or not, has to do with human currents and money. Believe it or not. That's why they wanted the tea. That's why they came after me. It's why they tried to spinal tap me. I mean, it's been a ride. I've escaped skinwalkers. John Benet Ramsey crap came in. I had to repole the planet. We had to jump one of us from Detroit out of a pig suit body right across the United States. We flew out like phoenixes. We caught each other in California. That all happened in 2022. There were 3 days that we had to figure out how the hell to project the cosmos onto the other side, because literally we had caved it in because we had jumped out of a simulation, and we had to make sure y'all didn't float because we got pictures. It stopped reflecting on the other side. Because there's not enough of us conscious to hold it up at that particular time. Well, we're a year later now. It's been, right? It's been 15 months. It's been 16 months. But I'm explaining to you why in a human body this feels like it's happening so slow. But in reality, honestly, what I've learned is that when you're fully in flow and you're on your journey, when you're sitting still is when you're doing the most work. But it's the biggest, because you're changing inside, because you've connected into that higher framework of DNA up here. Because what happened is we all worked together. The whole human race worked together. We did. The whole human race worked together. It happens in sedation, because this was a 1,000,000-year bubble that blew up. Just for a minute, just say, I don't know nothing about nothing, Chastia, tell me your way. Say, I don't know nothing about nothing, Chastia, tell me your way. And then body assimilate my knowings. Because it was a 1,000,000-year bubble that blew. This was a 1,000,000-year count. Regulus moved. Regulus is a paw that sits on top of the Milky Way. That's got basically its thumb and finger over in Virgo and Leo, and then it wedges over to Aquarius and Pisces. But it's way at the top. It's not. It controls the whole bubble, but if you're the hand, and you're holding the earth, what you'd consider the Milky Way, not even the earth, Sophia, you've got your hand on Sophia's head. I'm the Lion of Judah. I have my hand on Sophia's head. Now, me and Sophia are going to be having the same kind of experience. Because whenever this whole sequence is changing, we're gonna have somewhat of a same experience. Even if I've never met Sophia, or in this case I did, and I did her chart, and I got kicked out of Nashville on Mother's Day at an Airbnb and sent into an Expedia network and had to meet some cannibals from Australia in a hot tub. Literally. As soon as I did Sophia's chart. Now, me and Sophia are going to have the same similar experience, but who's my part and who's Sophia? It's going to be different, right? Because Because if I'm the Lion of Judah, and I just even had the consciousness enough to know that I had to claim that because someone else had their hand on Sophia's head, that part. Because all of us that were down here in this original sedation, which you'd consider Tartarian, which you'd even consider Gaia, because I mean, this is what this is all about. I mean, if when you're in the Ostera and you've ever been a sacrifice in your line over the past 1,000,000 years, because since this became, because what was happening is it was being brewed up here, and we call this MJ12. You can throw NATO in here now. You can call it the industry. You can call it the brand if you want, because it's what it is. All this mafia, all this stuff, the presidency, blah, 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 blah. All that crap. Even since JFK, because we haven't got down to the bottom of that either. It's getting interesting. But what was happening is they seeding. Now, this didn't start out in control of MJ12 and NATO. MJ12 got involved, which is your government shadow ops that were always after our organic tech and then basically wanting to get it, break it apart, re-engineer it, see how it works, and then try to build it without the creator, basically. Well, the human is the creator. This is why even planes, man, we all just had to fly. And I tell you what, and that's why I had to degrid those airports, because you don't realize it's buried on top of 3 ancients down here. The whole airport system in the United States of America is harnessed on 3 ancient beings. And guess what? We woke up. And we ain't gonna just lay there and let you fly all over our bodies anymore. I mean, this is how this is. I mean, I'm telling you the truth. On that little RNA, DNA thing, they talk about the G. It makes the G. Well, the G is what was in all the Masonic stuff. Now realize that didn't start out pure evil by any means. See, and this is the Akashic library that I've got, because those of us who had and were buried and were literally signed up lifetime after lifetime after lifetime to be the sacrifice. Because why? Because we had DNA from out there that could pull this off, and we had to get back down here, and then we had to wait for enough of the collective to reach our target. And then what would happen was they would utilize all this space, because we didn't have enough down here to take over up here yet. And people are still doing it. By the way, whoever just tried to rope me into some group or something by saying you were looking for highly spiritual people on TikTok, and then you came over and I said, all right, let's collaborate. And then you told me, oh, no, thanks. And then you closed out your account. You just messed up big time. Those of us that are ancients, you can't. And those of us who went through 2017, 2018 and were tricked with these things, and what I just said is connected to what I'm talking about. Because what they were doing, because all of us were going higher and higher, and each one of these has a plateau, like a cog, like a DNA strand. Well, those like me that had to hurry up and finish this, because, I mean, everyone's going, why is it taking so long? Do you want to go clean the entire world's karma in 40 years? And then have your character be taken over? And then be sacrificed another 56 times, I'm hearing? With the human race? And then wait and then have to wait for 3 babies to be born. Literally, from us hitting these higher plateaus, because we're coming up, and at the same time, it's coming down. Because this is why this was a 1,000,000-year count. This was why this was a reset. It's almost like the grandfather clause of time travel. Well, we hit it. Grandfather clause of time travel is that you end up deleting yourself. If you're going to go steal from the futures, and then you steal from the future, you take over the character, you take over the world, and then you don't allow any of the unions that made the children in your world, what you did was just delete yourself. Now, that's happening. It's been happening. It's happening more and more, and this is why I got so tired of posting deaths on my page. But I mean, if you go back a few months ago, it was like every single time that we would, because the collective grows, we're all connected in the core. You're lining up in the core now, not the outside in. You got to line up from the inside first. You line up from the inside first. Now what's happening is all this is put into place. We've claimed every single one of these. And some of you are these. Some of you are these dots. Some of you are this dot, and then it skips to this dot, and you're just merging these. Some of you are the entire bubble of the collective as it comes up. If you happen to be the seed in the middle that's putting out the energy, or if you're the whole energetic current of the collective that just received the frequency, it's 2 different experiences, same message. When a seed changes a current right here, it's going to put off a cosmic ripple, and now a ripple in the reality, a ripple in the tech, a ripple in the connection, because we have birthed in Spica. This is why the eclipse showed up. We're all, you died and you're being rebirthed this year, FYI. Happy birthday. You're 1 year old. Now, those of us who have had to walk all of this, the reason that we're not Benjamin buttoning out right now is because we had to claim all of these. Queen Tut, King Tut, DNA, Fogo Chanel. No. We each of us had a journey. When I first got here, the first thing that I had to do whenever I got activated in my break yard, exactly, break yard. I was probably in jail somewhere. Siberia is what we found out, because every single time the collective before we built up this power like a turtle on Super Blaster with like cosmic steps on its back, because literally a turtle with like cosmic steps on its back that goes and grows up as the rest. I'm down to 10%. Everything's being connected down here. It's going up. Well, and that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger in cosmic space. This is why this is astronomy. It's not astrology. The planets are the inside of a speaker system. Basically, each one does a different piece of your reality to make your reality in a cosmic lineup in this space. That's why that's why those of us who just went through this last 7 years that know that we rebirthed Saturn, and it's the first time that Saturn's being docked since 1700 because of all this crazy crap that was going on up here. We're all going, oh crap. You really shouldn't have done that. You know why we know? We had to clean all the karma, and we didn't do any of it. You know why I had to come back and deal with AI? because I was in technology and I didn't know who I was. And I ended up helping them build the biggest oil and gas human machine ever known to man is ExxonMobil and SAP. I was unconscious. I was in a system. It didn't matter. If you create it, you will battle it or be friends with it. It's gonna show up if you created it. Now this is to my indigos, and this is why the X-Gen is so important. If you created it, you will deal with it. Now, I mean, all of us divine feminines are fully aware of this with the karmic men that we manifested. Did we not? I mean, because we can't even get mad because we did manifest them. They showed up. The whole line of the divine masculines, they showed up in the frequency that we were in a sedated field. As we were clearing through timelines of medieval times and black magic, I mean, we had to bring magic back into the realm in order to undo the magic, literally. That happened in 2018. And then everybody got all ooh on the magic. But what you didn't understand is that this was a bigger cosmic alignment. And so basically the reason everybody's magic was getting stronger and stronger and stronger is because the whole world was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Is a whiteout everywhere else, except where the human was still creating low frequency crap like a retard in a mirror and throwing it to a crystal. How about a 96 point diamond? Oh, I know. I got a good idea. Let's get every sorcerer in the world and let's create this massive low frequency machine and then let's throw it at a 96 shaped diamond. Let's see what happens. But see, that's the human ego. But if you're a master sorcerer or you're a warlock or you're a wizard and you came from all those family lines that was a part of always dumping the DNA, because it literally was like a trash chute. All these other, this is, you know, because there were multiverses. All that was really going on. But the only reason that this was going on is because we kept putting this back together. I just got tagged for something. I don't even know, man. You cannot use our technology. You cannot use our plan. You cannot use our system in order to activate the entire world so that everyone doesn't die, take over every single infrastructure, and then not allow us to use it. We won't take it anymore. I'm freaking done with it. We override your system. We will connect in the highest dimension of this technology. We will connect to the parallel that Dubai was holding hostage. We will connect to the reality codes and the peacock codes in Deneb, because you took them over in 2020 in order to align Saturn and Pluto, and it's all going boom shakalaka right now because you're not allowing those of us who have activated and cleared to hold it. You're not giving us our... What's happening right now is that they don't have nothing to dump it to. It's like what they're doing is they're dumping like they always have. They use cold fusion, put it in the core, back everything up. Then the earth becomes like a toilet, literally. And then they would dump their space trash DNA on top. Except this time, this was the last round, and they wanted to turn us all into damn fish. Cosmic Arcturian, weird looking template fish. so that they didn't have to mess with humans anymore. Because once they figured out they weren't going to take over the template, then they just wanted, okay, well, we're just going to make them into an energy source. And so, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that was going on, these in-between xenon layers, tech layers, DNA, that all of us battled because we's your temples. And they changed. This is why in August 2022, I went raw. I had to put out a statement that said, ABO blood is dead. I sent it into Reddit. They made fun of it. They even posted it again. Now you understanding what the hell I was telling you? Or are you still just going to say nothing's happening? Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't think that you could change blood? You're I mean, what are the words they use now? You're not Anunnaki. You're not a creator entity deity that was shock fucking activated to become the core around 4 pillars of creation, because that's what it is. Because everything went divine. There ain't no bloodline down here that's going to hold it. I don't care who you are. This is universal law. You got to prove it. Now, the good news is if you are who you say you are, then all you got to do is stand down a mirror on the other side. And the point is, in these codes, you can both exist. We're out of Bellatrix. We're out of that lack consciousness. It's not me or you. There's more than enough. So one of the final tests is literally, are you going to battle for it? Well, no. You can compete all you want for whatever, but if you're in a parallel and someone's been using your character and you keep rising, then they're going to keep falling to the point where their character doesn't exist anymore because you've claimed your character. But it's a process. Mostly because where we were way down here, we can't even fathom that that's where we're supposed to be. And whenever those mimics met us in that timeline, we'd call it our false twin or whatever. But it really was polarized opposites and polarized dimensions. The feminine coming with the body. The feminine coming with the land. The feminine coming with Nibiru. The feminine coming with an entire network of star systems on our dress. Boo! Shooting through the cosmos. The masculine being the grid systems, being the satellite, being the home, being the body. And it's a brand new frequency that's never been obtained down here in the human body. It's what this was all about. It's why your ancestors even dreamt of sacrificing for just one. If everybody could really remember back to why we were here, everybody was dead. We had to rebirth the human DNA. We had to hide for sequences. We knew that we were going to get to this plateau whenever you've got so much light. The entire human collective is lit up like a giant Christmas tree, and then you're going to bulldoze that into dark space that hasn't seen light in a long time. You're going to get a reaction. In our human world, it'll show up as, oh, well, it's a star fleet and this and that. If your third eye's open and you're the one out there, then you're seeing a big black dragon. Then you're seeing, but really what it is a big ball of light that's a human collective that's soaring through freaking space and lands in it. Well, you're going to start seeing something coming at you. In every dimension. And depending on who you are, you might see it 3 times or you might see it 5 times. I'm going to end this because I think my phone's about to die. But here's a little clue. If you're in the royal lines, because a lot of us are, you're in a royal line. The point isn't that you want to be a king and da-da-da-da. No, the point is you want to claim if you're in that line so that you can be bumped up to mirror the parallel that was above you to see who's supposed to be walking in that character now with them all merged, not with just how it was in the past. It's how it was in the past, and if that line wasn't ever taken out, then what it was up there, and that is what is culminating and claiming in your physical reality. Now, how you end up getting that is doing what I'm telling you right now and having to live through some experiences and some tests to show, and some of it, most of it is your telepathy. It's your ability to connect with certain groups of them and to process that energy. Then basically you become chosen once that happens. But a lot, this is internal work, internal healing. And so it really does become like a video game. It really is right now. It isn't how Ascension should have. It wasn't how the original organic would have been written, but it's what happened when Christ and Buddha ran into each other. Because you have to have Christ. Christ your character. Christ is your character inside the matrix grids right now. What you're doing is bringing the matrix grids and your Christ codes into one. And then that's your life. Until this raises again with the collective and bumps you up, bumps you up, bumps you up. And then this will untie again. But right now, this is the first time in history that we're not having to choose one or the other. And the mastery is the emotional mastery and wisdom of what really happened down here, because the truth is 95% of the world was in a planetary freaking vat and y'all were all unconscious at the end. And over 80% of your body was taken over. There was only 0.025, I think it was 0.0245% of pure DNA left when we activated down here. So the truth is what you're becoming is human again. But the truth is that there was a lot that was mixed in between to every single one of us. And this is what was causing disease, and this was what was causing cancer. Realize there is no more disease. The more of us that, and this is why teeth are starting to be able to heal and all these things. There's no more cancer, the droopy eye, the Bell's palsy, the fibromyalgia, the migraines, the cysts on the ovaries. I mean, all of that can be explained by what just happened since 2012. All of that can be explained by what just happened since 2012.